Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode number 7 in Conversation at the Crossroads. As you can see, today's guest we have is Sonal Ravi Andrews. But before I introduce the guest to you, let me read out a few things to you. Life will throw googlies at us all the time. While it may come shock to us, we must be strong and resilient enough to take them in our stride. It is fine to feel sad about the setbacks and the problems, but not for too long. We must learn to fight back and climb out of the hole again. And that's the whole essence of life, which means it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be upset. But the point to learn and the point to be wiser enough every day is to reduce your time in that grief and sadness. So it's okay, everyone is sad, including me, but the art is to come out faster from it. Second, while it's important to earn money, get good jobs, and all that we want, but be aware not to caught up in a race, the rat race, because life is not a race, but it's something that should be balanced and fulfilling. Remember, ultimately, our happiness will not come just from money, but from other important things such as friendships, love, family, entertainment. A balanced life is a key to happiness. And today with us, we have a queen of happiness, the happiness ambassador. So she talks that learning only happens when there is passion, confidence, and quality in the environment. She is a founder director of IPTA. What's IPTA? Integrated Preschool Teachers Training Academy. She is a pathologist and an eminent teachers trainer, a counseling psychologist, a storyteller, a powerful orator. We have seen her skills on the first event at LinkedIn Local Hyderabad and the way she spread the joy, the happiness. She's an accomplished poet, a classical dancer, a theater artist, and a certified professional in communication skill. None other than Trinity College of London has certified her in that professional skill. Taking it forward, she's conducted 650 interactive workshops, pivoted herself during the pandemic, and trained over 1 lakh educators, parents, and children in their early childhood education. In the last year of lockdown, she did not worry, but she pivoted and conducted webinars for teachers and parents, which has reached with over 5 million views. If you haven't checked it out, check out her YouTube channel. Her allocates comprise of a leadership award from various institutes, and she's been on an advisory panel of many prestigious schools. Any school that you name in Hyderabad knows her. Of course, there are schools outside of India that also know her, but in Hyderabad, she has a big name, and she's also connected with so many schools all over India. People who know her, including me, we all crown her as an happiness ambassador because she firmly believes happiness is the attitude, passion is the aptitude, humanity is the ultimate religion. So let's welcome Sonal Ravi Andrews. Hi, Sonal.
Hello, Sagar. What a pleasure to see you, and especially talking about myself. It was joy.
Well, inviting a communication skill expert, I was thinking, am I going right? So, yep, welcome. So, tell
Thank
us
you.
something about yourself, about IPTA, and what you're doing currently.
Thank you so much, Sagar. It's a pleasure to be on this platform and talking to you, chatting with you. Uh, IPTA stands for every woman who believes in early childhood education, who is related with children, who has passion to do something for children in the education field. Coming from pathology to coming into psychology and now talking about early childhood education, it was a journey which I never thought I will be walking on this path ever. But when I have found it and I'm enjoying, it's a calling that I think I was created for, because everything that I've learned in my life in the past is complementing my today's profession. IPTA works for early childhood educators, trains them, gives them hands-on skill to deal with children between age of 0 to 9. Rather,
Wow.
I recommend this course to every parent who is now planning for homeschooling, looking at the pandemic. Kindly come, understand what psychology is all about, what human nature is all about, and how from a button in the womb a human gets created, and till the age of 7, how they can be with you, and you have entire, resource around you to help this child to grow into an individual who is responsible. IPTA
Wow.
stands for every woman who wants to be emotionally empowered, because I very strongly believe financial empowerment or independence is very easy in today's day, but it's more difficult to be emotionally, uh, you know, healthy, having a
Yeah.
good quotient of emotions. And that is what we work as trainers at IPTA, and we make sure that the women who come in contact with us, they not only take back theories about child psychology, about different pedagogies, but they also take back how to be a good human being and change this society in our little own way.
Wow. That's so much in that little world of IPTA. Amazing. So while we go on with the show and have discussions at the crossroads, but before we go on to the crossroad, I'm tempted to ask you one thing. In today's scenario, where students are actually watching too much of TV, too much of tablet, too much of mobile phone, and even the school is online, what is your suggestion of keeping children busy for at least some time, taking them off screen, or even while they are on screen? How do parents like us manage that? So if you can please help us.
Thank you so much, Sagar. This kind of questions really open up the whole field for me to talk. And this is what my passion is all about. Even before the pandemic came, we always believed that every profession, just look at any profession, you are an engineer. Before you became an engineer, you were given a booklet. That booklet spoke about this machine is made in this manner, this is a troubleshoot. I'm from a medical profession. In medicine, we are given a handbook that these are the symptoms and this can be the diagnosis. Do this test, you will understand how to go about it, and then these are the medicines that you can give. Now, being a parent and a teacher, you get no handbook. Okay, as a doctor, lawyer, engineer, you have to have a license to do whatever you want to do. But as a parent, have you ever got a license from your gynecologist or from any of the institute that, now you're a parent, chalo, shuru ho jao. Now you know things. Now this is where we need to do little work. As early childhood educator, I believe that every parent should be involved in upbringing. I know it'll sound little theoretical when I cite few names or I say few names, but I really want those names to be brought out. People know Montessori or kindergarten, but I want their attention to go on people like Comenius or people like, in our own country, we had Gijubhai Badeka, who spoke about letting mother's lap be the first school. And to be really honest, in our generation, I'm a little ancient. So in our generation, mother's lap was my first school. It was our first school. And today the scenario has come to the same thing. Unfortunately, as parents, we have lost habit of being with children during constructive years and constructive time. Our job as a parent has to become get the best brand of toy, best brand of clothes, best education system. But you know what pandemic taught us? Being an educator, I'm saying it, that education is not one of the essential priority in life, because everything started except educational institutes. Education is at home, should be at home, and a teacher should be a facilitator. Now imagine a joy where mother can understand a child's need theoretically and practically and can implement in life. So one tip that I would like to give is play with your child board games, and more than that, listen to your children. As parents, we have become interview parents. Khana khaya? Did you brush your teeth? Did you finish your homework? Did you keep your clothes back? Hold on. Allow them to speak. Listen to them. Do metacognition. Metacognition is a very difficult term. To put it simply, allow them to think about what they're thinking. If they're saying sky is blue, if they have colored blue color sky, ask them. It's beautifully colored, but why blue? And let them give his reason. And if child has made black or green sky, it's all right. What is important is why is it like that? And now that is where the parent and the child connection will begin. That if my mother listens to me, if my father listens to me, it's natural for me to listen to them. If they play with me, it's natural for me to study at times when they tell me. It's always give and take. And if we practice it, it's going to work wonders. And I'm not saying it by book. I've practiced it and luckily it has worked. So I think every parent can practice a lot of love. Very famous psychologist has said, what every child deserves is a dose of love. If child is not behaving good even after that, even after you have given that dose, increase the dose. It's as simple as that. And eventually child is going to heal from within and behave in a right manner, provided he's loved enough.
Wow, that was the golden nugget in the start of the conversation. So be with the child, play with the child, let the child speak, ask questions why, and don't say that you've given enough love to your kids. If you have given enough love and if they've not responded, it's not enough. Give more, give more, give more. Wow, that's amazing, Sonalji. That's lovely. So now moving on to the next question is, what does crossroad mean to you?
Uh, when I read about a word crossroad, you hear it a lot of times, but especially for this particular talk that we were going to have. When I thought about it, that what am I going to say for that? I started thinking about it. And to be really honest and brutally honest to you, there are no tragedies involved. I don't have anything that I can complain about in life. I had parents who really gave me a lot of love. I had a very balanced childhood. I had an elder brother to trouble. I had a lot of cousin to love me. I had good education. I had a school where my principal actually groomed me to become a better person, a poet. Um I had everything going for me. So where were the crossroads? And then as I was thinking about it, my mother used to tell this to me, that you're a kind of child who demands struggle, who asks for struggle. And I never understood what she meant. I never understood, because for me scoring was very easy in the school, extracurricular was very easy for me. I was easy, it was easy for me. I never thought of it as any struggle. And I used to wonder, why is she saying like that? But now when I look back, I understand that I always chose difficult path. The roads were very beautiful, broad, easy for me, and I created a path which nobody ever walked. And I created that crossroad maybe at times on myself, and then I asked, why did I do it? And it's like apne पैरों पे कुल्हाड़ी मारो, but then I relished it. I enjoyed it because it demanded a lot out of me. It made me understand that what am I made up of, what kind of metal I am made up of. Like recently one of my friend told me that, what, stop telling that try me. It's okay now, enough of trials have happened out of you, you just have peace. I think we should create these crossroads, otherwise our life will be very lukewarm. I believe that if we are in a comfort zone for very long time, we are going to stink. It's like a stagnant pond. Rather, you should flow like a river. On the way, you are going to have lots of rocks and ups and downs, and you're going to have fall. But you know what? You're always going to bounce back. Crossroad for me are the occasions where I very consciously decide what road I want to take or want to create, which I might have somebody, who has already tried it out, failed or succeeded, and I want to try learning from them, absorbing from them, or else I just want to try because it's just a idea at that moment, which over a period of time the plan takes place, the execution takes place, and you feel, okay, you know what, I passed this much, I covered this much, next time it's going to be more. So I feel we all meet a lot of crossroads at a lot of time, but most of the time we create them because we choose difficult scenario instead of going for easy ones, and that's why they are crossroads.
Wow, such nicely said. And this is the second time that somebody on the crossroads is saying that crossroads happen in mind and we have the choice to choose them. It's not that we are bombarded with them or we are compelled to go on them. It's our choice, it's our ownership. Very, very nicely said and very powerful. Thank you, Sonal. But before we go on to the next question, I'm going to throw googly at you. A struggle or a crossroad you can choose. Can we hear a good poem from you?
A poem? Okay, why not? So is it okay if it's in Hindi? Right. So I'm going to read out for you. Just give me a second. This was real a googly, okay? I wish you had told me and I'd kept something ready for me. But here we go. So this will give out who I am in a very brief thing. So let's begin. हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ जो सुकून के कुछ लम्हे जमाने से चुरा लाई हूँ, अपने गम को भुला के रोना बादलों को सौंप आई हूँ, धूप के कुछ टुकड़े अपनी तिजोरी में छुपाए रखी हूँ, एहसासों को कोमल धागों से जज्बातों से बुनती जीती आई हूँ। हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ जो आंसू बहाने को कमजोरी नहीं मानती हूँ, गलतियां करने पर शर्मिंदा नहीं होती हूँ, अपने अगर रूठे तो मनाने में देरी नहीं करती हूँ, रोज एक नई कहानी लिखने से काम चोरी नहीं करती हूँ। हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ अपने छोटे छोटे ख्वाबों से आसमान को भाप लाई हूँ, कामयाबी को मुट्ठी में बांध मैं साथ लाई हूँ, जिंदगी से मिलकर मैं आज ही तो आई हूँ, छांव जमाने को दे मेरी हंसी बिखरा के आई हूँ। हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ जुआर के खिलाफ जाकर मंजिल को पाई हूँ, की गई तौहीनों को नजरअंदाज कराई हूँ, कभी कभी छोड़ महफिल को खामोश लौट आई हूँ, लम्हा लम्हा जिंदगी को रंगीन कराई हूँ। दोस्तों, अब तो मैं बीते हुए कल के सारे शोर को कल ही में छोड़ आगे आई हूँ। हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ टूट कर बिखर कर संभलती आई हूँ मुश्किल से मैं, कांटों को चुनकर फटे पन्नों से कहानियां संजोई है मैंने, मानती हूँ हर इंसान को हक है खुल के जीने का, आसान सा फलसफा है सबको जीने दो और खुद भी सुकून से जियो का। हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ जमाने की खूबियां जमाने से सिखाई हूँ, जीने की खासियत अपने अंदर बसा लाई हूँ, मोहब्बत की बारिश में भीग कर रहती हूँ मैं, बेशुमार प्यार के समंदर में भिगा देती हूँ मैं। हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ रोज कुछ नया सीखना इसे जिंदगी का दस्तूर बनाई हूँ, नई सोच के टुकड़े हर रोज नई सुबह से चुरा लाई हूँ, हर एक के लिए उम्मीद भरे कदम और हौसलों पे कायम जमी लाई हूँ, दिल में यकीन की खुशबू मैं बसा कर आई हूँ। हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ हजार बार गिरती हूँ, कभी अपने आप कभी साथ मांग कर संभलती हूँ, अपनी गलतियों से नई तरकीबें सीखती हूँ, जो समझा सीखा उसे खुले दिल से बांटती हूँ। मेरे दोस्त, अब तो मैं मौत से मोहलत लेकर जिंदगी के त्योहार को हर पल मनाती हूँ, हर पल मनाती हूँ। हाँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ, ये मैं ही तो हूँ।
Wow. Thank you very much. And nobody would have done justice to this googly more than you. So, and I was so confident that you would be having something in your Pandora's box, which will come out if I ask you on spot. And amazing. You've given us a very good poem to remember. Everyone can, listen to this poem every single day. And you actually don't need any morning affirmations. This is full of morning affirmations. So, really, really awesome. So, now coming on to a very, very emotional part of the show, can you share us one crossroad, one incident, one story of your life which you felt that you were at the crossroad?
Thank you, Sagar. It's unfair to tell a storyteller to tell just one story. So, but I'm going to try and do justice to that. Okay, I'm going to try and keep it very crisp. On a personal note, in my personal life, the major impact that I had in my life is, I think, my mom. uh, though every character, I'm using a word character, little mean, but every individual that came across in my life, I've absorbed. I'm a copycat. Okay, I just grab good things and I try and see where I can fit into me and become better every day. I come from a Gujarati medium. I have studied till 10th in Gujarati medium school. So I remember I was in class 6th or 7th and English had just begun. In 5th standard, we learned A to Z. Okay. So that's when my journey began in English. And at that time, my teacher was awesome. And she taught few fantastic words. And out of them, few got stuck with me. So, as child, you have these eyelashes and then you put it here and you blow them. You play those games as teenagers. So I used to have this and I used to blow and I used to say, God, make me lovable, adorable, and respectable. God alone knows what I understood back then. But now, today, what I see in me is that struggle that I did to become lovable, adorable, and respectable was very huge. You'll be surprised to know I was an introvert child. I failed my UKG because I couldn't speak. My teacher failed me because I didn't speak till age of 5. So I had to repeat my UKG. Uh, my mother had been my inspiration and she waited on to me. She believed in me. My both parents were very well educated. She was a working woman in those days. She was in the teaching field as well. And she understood me better than anybody. I would not speak, I would be just reading books. That was my world. I would hide books under the books and read. That was me. If people talk to my relatives and they say Sonal is a speaker, they say, seriously, she can talk. It's that way. From that, being that introvert, in grade 6th or 7th, there were two incidents that happened. One, I saw my mother coming back from work and being a little sad for a few days. I understood that my father's, who was working in Premier Automobiles those days, had some problem with union and he was at home. There was a lockout. I understood there was a struggle. I could not see my mother like that. And I don't know what happened. In the school, they had announced Ideal Student Awards. So I went to my mother, I hugged her, and I said, I got Ideal Student Award. And my mother was very thrilled, and I was happy to see her smile. I thought, yes, I did it. I brought a smile on her face, and I'm sorted. Alas, I forgot that my mother knew my principal so well. Coming Saturday, when they had a meeting, my principal definitely didn't know anything about this award coming to me. My mom came home and she made me sit and she hugged me tight. And she said, I'm so proud of you that just for my one smile, you created a beautiful story. God willing, it'll come true, but I never want you to lie to make me smile. Because on one fine day, I will get to know and I'll be more hurt, isn't it? I think that day I learned the meaning of word truth. I understood what integrity is all about. In the same breath, I would also like to tell another incident where I was given full marks in essay, and that too in Gujarati, in mother tongue. In the first language, nobody gives full marks in essay. So in the class, my teacher announced that I got full marks, and I was thrilled. She said, read out your essay, and I'm read it out. And then after I read out, everybody clapped, and then my teacher said, no wonders you can write like that. After all, your mother is a Gujarati professor. And puss, the balloon went. I went home, threw things around, and I said, because of you, I didn't get the credit. Now, my elder brother was looking at all this tantrum and tamasha that I was doing. He's 8 years elder to me. He looked at me and he said, I can't understand this because, first of all, I never get marks like this. But if I ever get, I will look around. And when my teacher will say this, I will still look around and say, is anybody's mom like that? I understood my second lesson, that though me and my brother are brought up by same parents in the same environment, our way of looking at life is very different. My need in my life is very different, and thankfully my parents understood it, gave me education accordingly. There were lots of things happen. I wanted to become a homeopathy doctor. In 12th, I met with a severe accident at my boards, and finally I had to give up my dream and get into pathology after that. But then I feel all this is jigsaw, Sagar. I was meant to get into pathology so that I meet my would-be husband who met me at one of the hospital. If I was into homeopathy, I would have never met him. And the way I meet him, and today, after 22 years of our marriage or 27 years of our togetherness, the way we complement each other, I think God has just blessed us. We are just, that jigsaw that completes each other is just that. So, personal life, I think those teenage experience made me who I am. My attitude to learn, my hunger to become better individual every day has made me who I am. And I have been covering this crossroads in a very, very subtle way. But the biggest hurdle that I have faced in my life, where I understood this four-letter word called FEAR, fear, was last year. When my husband had COVID, he was in ICU, and I didn't know what to do. I was clueless. Those 72 hours, I was dazed. I remember very consciously saying only two lines, and those lines were, I want to be as sick and be in the same ICU as him. That's the only way I'm going to bring him back home. Sounds so stupid, sounds so irrational, no logic in this. I had 16-year-old daughter staying at home. I didn't worry about her at that time. I didn't think anything. I didn't understand what I was asking for. And God willing, I got severe COVID. I was in the same ICU, sharing the bed, and I think, you know what? I gave him courage to get off the oxygen. I gave him that motivation to get off the oxygen, and I brought him back home. And for me, that is the first time I understood what togetherness is all about. The power of goodwill, that people praying for you when you don't have a backup plan. The people like us, we have backup plans for everything. If this doesn't work, I have one, two, three, four, five backup plans. Here, there was no backup plan, and I didn't want any backup plan because there was no other option that I was giving God. Sounds hilarious or stupid, but that is, I think, the biggest hurdle that I've ever crossed. And what came out in that hurdle was what kind of a mother I was all these years. During this dark time where Ravi was struggling, my daughter was alone, 16-year-old, both the parents in ICU, alone at home with a maid, and the maid turns positive. So we rush back home, and when we come home, we still feel that heaviness of dark cloud. We are still taking our, IVs and medicines and everything. We are injecting each other with things and trying to keep the bold face there. And then my daughter's result come, who topped her ICSE with 98.6, with her parents like who watched TV when her boards were going on, and she had to come and say, can you guys reduce the volume, I'm trying to study. And that is the kind of relation we had with her child, the way we brought her up, the maturity that she showed during that 7 days, emotional maturity, which was more important for me. I had always told her that if you don't study, I'm okay. If you don't become a big person, I'm okay. But if you don't behave well, I'm not going to be happy. And she proved it to me that whatever I had taught her, She had seen it more than she had heard it, and she replicated that strong behavior that she could withstand with maturity and handle those days, and brought me and Ravi out of that dark cloud and showed us that ray of hope. I wish nobody has to come to, life and death crossroads ever. Uh, but I'm glad that we are out of it and we are a better human being and we are still alive to talk about it and encourage people to do better in their life.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm witness to that thing, and while you were talking, I tried to search for people. This is the YouTube channel that you should actually go and check out, where Dr. Ravi Andrews is sharing her his life experience of what he's gone into. And while I'm talking to you, I'm also trying to paste one more thing in the comment, which comes out here. This is the article which brought all of us to tears. And this article, this news meter, is actually his journey written by Ravi Andrews himself, sharing what traumatic week that was, and how they got out of that. I think in this time, relevant times, it's worth read for everyone because the whole of India is right now suffering that and going through that. So thanks a lot, Sonal, for sharing that with us. And while we do that, you already shared that your learning was about the four-letter word fear. But I would still love to know what are the three things that you would pick up from that crossroad that is required to sail through that journey, to sail through that struggle. So, what are the three things that you recommend to the listeners that they should build themselves or they should be prepared to sail through their crossroads in their journey?
Thank you, Sagar. Thank you once again. You know what? As you rightly said, I'm sure everybody who is right now watching us or listening to us, they have some relative out there who's suffering with a similar situation, not directly, indirectly, financially, emotionally, physically. And what kept us going? What kept me going? I'll be very, very, personal right now. What kept me going was my blind faith in superpower that I believe in. That there is goodness. If we have done good for everyone, why will anything wrong will happen to us? Number one, your belief, your faith does wonder to you. Sounds a little spiritual, but I completely believe in it. The second thing is your determination to achieve what you want to achieve. For that, you will have to do a lot of hard work. I had to make sure that everything is available for what I'm leaving behind. Or when Ravi became sick, the way we did things around, or how my work happened. In January 2020, a lady approached me and said, "Can we start? Can you do a curriculum for me?" And I said, "If you want a screen time in your school, I'm not going to do curriculum for you." And come March, the same lady approached me and I said, "Why not? Let's do it online." That flexibility in you. Though you have determination, you also have to have flexibility because circumstances are going to throw things at you. And how ready are you to change with them? Yeah, it looks hypocrisy at times. You might feel that, oh my God, I said this, how can I go back? But it's okay to go back. You are no God. Don't make promises. Never say never. Because that is what, it's a very beautiful Polish proverb. I don't know whether you've heard. It says, "Man plans and God laughs." And अच्छा तू plan कर रहा है बच्चे? How? I mean, how can you plan? It's in my hand. How you're going to be dancing? So second thing is determination with flexibility. And third and most important thing is love. Now, this love doesn't relate to the spouse love or the child love. It's love for yourself, love for life. What is your survival instinct? How well do you bounce back from whatever has happened? I think it's really important to love yourself. Belief comes after, you know, you love yourself. It's really important because I'm really seeing so many cases of depression nowadays. I'm seeing so many people being disappointed with situation, and that is true. It's not a lie. Like my daughter keeps telling me that, you are unnecessary positive. I like being unnecessary positive. No harm in that. Because whatever is going to happen, that's not in my control. But how I behave, that's in my control. So I think these are three things that we should keep in mind when we are breathing every single day. And I think that will take us through.
Wow, rightly said, and I've shared it also. Faith, determination with flexibility and love. And I think you have your fans all over. We have Mariana, we have Shifali, we have Shailja, we have Sonia, Neelam, and the chat is just flowing through. The chat is just, that shows that yes, you are adorable, and people do adore you online and offline. Absolutely. So, coming to the next point, what is your favorite chapter from the book At the Crossroads of Life?
Sagar, now this is another question which is unfair. You can't have one favorite chapter where there are lots of chapters speaking lots of things at different people. And for me, especially after knowing you, this book becomes a very personal thing to me. It's my possession which I'm not going to part with anybody. The first chapter itself brought a lot of tears. I can't even imagine how your family stood through those struggles. And God bless you, the family, and the courage that you people showed. But my favorite chapter, as you might would have guessed, is 11th chapter, not the happiness one, but the 11th one. The chapter is my favorite for a simple reason. Your wish is my command, is what I believe too. I believe that, we need to just keep going up behind us and somebody will manage things. We cannot be omnipresent and things will just happen if our intention is clear, if our commitment efforts are clear. The luck will eventually favor us. We can't be that unfortunate all the time. I believe that destiny is final. We all have a simple destiny. The day you were born, you have your expiry date. Everybody's destiny is death. I know I'm sounding a little rude right now, but that's what your destiny is. But the path, the choices that we make between the life, birth, and death is called life. And if we live this life making choices where we are going to be utilized at our best with clear intention, what we want to achieve for our betterment, why I'm being very selfish here, our and my I'm using, if we all start doing it, eventually we all will be at a better place. And that's what I very strongly believe. We can all think about in our little world, little home, family, eventually extended family, eventually community. This happiness, this belief of goodness, if we start doing it, that what? I know things will turn out good for me eventually. Things will happen very well. Rather, in my class, when I take class, I tell my students that when going gets tough, yes, tough people do get going. That's a cliche thing. But I have two basic rules that I tell them, and I'm going to share with you also here. First, everybody put your right hand up and flicker it. Do your best in every circumstances that you can. Give your 100% effort. Do everything that you can. But after that, if things don't change, jaan de, let it go. You know what? You'll be so sorted up there. Every single day, vacuum clean your brain. Don't keep baggages. And you will be so clean and fresh all the time that you can actually be happy. And you can decide when you want to be sad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. I'm a great one. While reading books, I cry. While watching movie or serials, I cry. It's okay. It's okay to cry. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means that you are able to express yourself. But happiness ambassador, if I'm called, is not because I laugh all the time. It's because I look for happiness and I make sure that I create happiness. The second thing that I use is remote control. You have your own remote control. You can't afford to say, Usne mera mood bigad diya. That person did this to me and ah, it can't happen to you. Shut down. Switch the channel. Reduce the volume. Go on a standby mode. Keep quiet. Smile. Just let it go, and things will improve, because nothing is stenciled in this world. Without you, things will go. You are not everything for everything. You are not as important as you think you are. So just move on, be easy on yourself, enjoy the moment, and do what you want to do. So these two things are the most important things that I relate with your chapter 11. That, you know what, just do what you want to do, put all your effort. At times you have to manipulate few things, do it. But you know what, eventually it worked out. You went to the destination that you wanted to go to, and it happened with such a glorified manner. That was the intention that mattered. And I think if we have this beautiful clear intention for ourselves, we're going to do the wonders for ourselves, because I believe where logic fails, magic works.
Wow, that was amazing. Just to, summarize a few things here. It started with happiness, it started with education, it started with being having faith, determination with flexibility, and loving our lives, knowing the value of the word fear. Now you gave us two amazing tips. Let go. Because, most of us are struggling is because we don't want to let go. And that let go can be any situation. It can be our egos, it can be our pride, because we want to prove it to someone, we don't let it go. But sometimes we have to understand, let go. And your example about flexibility was so true, is also related to priorities. That your priority pre-COVID was that you don't want to leave the touch and feel of the teachers and the students and the connecting of the art and everything. But now come pandemic, that is not possible. So what next? The next is online, and that's what you did. You went being flexible. You let go of your no, or of your principle, or in this case it can be, your limitation, that you don't want to do it. But now you have to be flexible because the show must go on. And at the same time, while the show must go on, the remote is in your hand. So to be happy, to be sad, to crib, or to be angry, it's all in your hands. So let's not blame others, let's not blame the situation. If somebody is to be blamed, blame yourself. But again, don't forget, love yourself more than you blame yourself. So, Sonal, any parting comments, any parting words?
Sure, there are two things again that I would like to say. One, while reading this chapter or the entire book, what appealed to me was your simplicity, Sagar, the transparency and honesty with which you written this book. I have a friend who read it. She's much senior. Uh, I would like to take her name, Shaila ma'am, and she said, I felt that Sagar was sitting next to me and telling me the story. And we all have been through such things, but it's people like Sagar who actually take courage to write this down. So it's really important to have that courage, share the experience to experience the resilience, and that is what you have done. And that's what makes human fraternity separate from other species, that we share. The moment you share, you go a little higher, because you're not only giving things to other people, you are emptying out your container to get ready to refill, and you're growing. So it's really important what you have done, Sagar. Thank you so much for writing this book. I'm really glad that you took this initiative and wrote something so easy, beautiful, but yet stimulating and inspiring. I am sure a lot of people are going to pick up this book and be inspired by it, by your journey. कौन कहता है कि खुदा नजर नहीं आता है? कौन कहता है कि खुदा नजर नहीं आता है? दोस्तों, एक वो ही नजर आता है जब और कुछ नजर नहीं आता है। एक वो ही नजर आता है जब कुछ और नजर नहीं आता है। Thank you so much for having me on this show, Sagar. You're a dear friend, brother, and will always remain one. God bless you and your family, and all the best for everything that you do in your life.
Thank you very much. And it was really a pleasure having you on the show, having this conversation, and knowing the stories, sharing that connect again. Lots and lots of love from all of us here. And thank you for supporting me always. Kudos to you and your team, and we'll be in touch soon back in Hyderabad to meet you in person. Till then, goodbye. To all the listeners, don't forget, collective prayers are very, very important. You cannot do anything sitting in your house just because you're not a doctor or you're not a millionaire, billionaire, or anything. Don't worry. Remember what Sonal said, blind faith. Have blind faith, close your eyes, and say a prayer, and let that prayer go out to the universe and say that it can be useful to anyone who needs it. You never know. Your prayer can save a life. So, till then, we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Bye.